Welcome to the Loner Ranger Radio Show. My name is Bruce Woodburn, and yes, I'm the Loner Ranger. Man, this is a show where we talk about how to save money when it comes to buying real estate or refinancing your mortgage, getting a new mortgage. But you know, there's a lot more to it than that. And it's interesting because so many of my loyal listeners out there, you may already own a home and maybe you've already refinanced. Maybe we've already taken care of that and you're saving money. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you know somebody that's currently renting and you're facing these outrageous rent increases that are happening. You know, we hear that they're going to go up another 20%. So rates across the country went up on an average of 20% last year. That's a big increase in rent. Now, the thing is that we saw a 20% increase in property values as well. So you can see why the rents are continuing to rise. But you know something, I've shared with you on this show that my commitment for 2022 is to help more first-time home buyers than I've ever helped before. So we're going to cover a couple of things today that I'm hoping will change some lives out there. And ultimately, that's what we want to do. Look, I'm in the business of helping people get financed for a house. I'm in the business of helping them save money. But I'm committed to helping people really find the path to home ownership. And I want to talk a little bit about how important that truly is, and that may not be you, but it's somebody that you know, and it's somebody that you can reach out and help them. And so I am going to be, I'm going to teach a class, a youth class, and I think we're going to do this in April. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about an April class that we'll book. And I think that's going to be the best opportunity. My February and my March are just slammed. So I'll put that on the books. If you're interested in that, go to WeBringYouHome.com or text me at 407-706-3313 that you'd like to attend my youth development workshop. So I want to talk about a few things when it comes to this. And this really hits home. I had a family member that is getting up there in her age, and she had a daughter that lived at home with her, and she was really setting up her will and trust to be able to accommodate her daughter that was really dependent on her to make sure that she had a home to live in. And she's got 5 other grandchildren and another daughter. Now, I don't mean to go off on a weird harangue here, but I want to kind of give you the gist of this. Well, she was preparing all this in the event that if she passed, her kids and grandkids would be taken care of. And on Christmas Eve, her daughter passed unexpectedly, and it's literally changed everything. And so now we're going back and looking at what is she going to do with the money that she's got and the equity that she's got in her home, and who's she going to take care of now, because everything changed for her. And we looked at what can we do to help her grandchildren. Now, I want to tell you something. This was really challenging for my wife and I. We met with my cousin, who's now in her late 60s, maybe even early 70s. I'm not going to tell you. I don't really know for sure. But we said, why don't we leave your money to your grandchildren and split it up, but make it so they don't just get a check and go blow it in the next 30 days to 3 months, that money is gone. I'm telling you, when you leave money to people that aren't used to having money, they're just going to piss it away. So I said, why don't we set it up so you give them this money, but they have to use it to buy a home? And she's like, Bruce, these were homeschool kid. They don't have great education. They don't have any path to homeownership. I don't know if they could ever do it. So my wife and I looked at that and went, you know what? There is not enough education out there to help youth understand the importance of how to balance a checkbook, how to open up credit, how to maintain credit, how to pay your bills on time, the importance of doing all those things. And some folks may be listening out there right now and they're like, you know what? I just didn't spend a lot of time with my kids on even sharing that with them as well. And you may be guilty of that. It's okay. This is not a judgment call. Now, I want you to take my phone number down because we're going to talk about some really important things here, and I'm committed to helping young people change their life. You can reach me at 407-706-3313 or go to my website at webringyouhome.com. So I'm going to create a class for April, and it'll be on my calendar. By the time you check this out, Monday, go to my calendar, or today, you'll see it on there, and it's going to be a youth outreach class. So let's just talk about that. These are things that I wish somebody told me when I was young. These are the things that I wish I would have told my children when they were young. These are things that these kids didn't have anybody instructing them. Okay, my cousin's grandchildren didn't have anybody instructing them. They did not have a clear path. So how could we expect that they're going to have an outlet to be able to say, hey, look at mom and dad or grandma and grandpa taught me all these things, and this is what I know I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to maintain good credit, save money out of every paycheck, and then I go on, and then one day I buy a home, and then that home makes me money, and then I buy another one and another one and another one. But you know what? They didn't have that path. They don't even know where to start. They don't even know how to pay bills on time and the importance of doing that. So I want to reach out to youth ministries, to youth organizations, to churches, deacons, pastors, whatever it is. And I want to go in there and start changing lives by helping young people understand the importance that being a renter is an enslavement into poverty. I'm just telling you right now, there is no such thing as a rich renter. There is no such thing as a rich renter. I've never met one personally. It's an enslavement into poverty. It perpetuates poverty. Where if you are a homeowner, you will perpetuate generational wealth. The chances on your children becoming homeowner, if you're a homeowner, are 10 times more. The chances on your children graduating from high school and college are 116 times more likely if you're a homeowner versus a renter. You have a less likelihood of a teenage pregnancy in a household if you're a homeowner versus a renter. Now, you may not think that that's important, and that may not even be your case. You may have that in your household right now. And look, we're all there to take care of our loved ones. But when that happens, what does that do to your retirement? You have all these plans set out, and all of a sudden, now you thought you got rid of your kids. Now you're taking on your grandkids' kids or your kids' kids. It really affects everything, and it's a snowball effect. So I want to get in front of kids, and I want to teach them things that I think a lot of families did not teach them. And you may be a parent or a grandparent, and you go, you know what? God dog it. I see that's happening to my kids or my grandkids, and I want to reach out there and help more people, more youth. There is no home economic class anymore. You can't teach home ec and teach how to balance a checkbook, pay your bills, and cook food. They don't have that anymore. So I'm going to at least take the financial aspect, and I want to show children the language of money. You know, and we look at this, and I'm going to go all over on this because I'm really passionate about this. You may or may not have heard my show when I did a show last year on the problem with our African-American new generation is actually less likely to amass wealth and have properties than their previous generation by a pretty substantial amount, like 38% less likelihood to own a home than their parents or grandchildren parents. That's ridiculous. But I looked at that and I went, you know what? I can see how it can be more challenging for a minority. But when I look at people across the board, This has no boundaries. Okay, I'm just telling you, my cousin's grandchildren are as white as they're going to get. So it doesn't matter whether you're white, black, Hispanic, Asian, it makes no difference. If you don't have somebody that's leading you in the direction that's going to hold your hand and kick your butt when you're stepping out of line, then those are people that just either don't know how to do it or you don't have anybody to do it. I'm going to volunteer for the job. So I want you to think about people that we can help together, because I can't do this on my own. I got a radio show. I broadcast to a lot of folks out there, but I'm not the one. Your kids probably aren't listening to the show. They're listening to rap music and all kinds of other garbage out there. I didn't say that, but whatever. But you know them. And if you care about them, the way that you say you do, and the way that I know you do, then reach out there and lend them a hand. And let's get them into this class. I'm going to show them how to save money. I'm going to show them the economics behind saving money, establishing credit, opening credit cards, maintaining the credit, not just opening credit cards and thinking because I got a limit on it that I'm supposed to exceed the limit or hit the limit. These are all things that I want to do to help youth today. So you might know somebody in a church or a pastor that we can do a Zoom class. There's not enough of the Lone Ranger to go around to do all these open seminars in person, but maybe we can get together and we can get them all in on a Zoom class. Maybe that's what we can do. Now, if we're going to invest in our children, we got to do it now. This generation is falling behind. And with rents going up as fast as they are, as interest rates are going up with our wonderful, just phenomenal Congress that's in there right now, and all this inflation that's just flooding us, your income is going down. I guarantee you your income is going down because as inflation goes up, your income has not gone up to the rate of the inflation. Think about it. You look at what you're spending in gas, in food right now, in a house, in every material you buy, in cars. It's just, it's going up and it's not going to stop. It's going to keep going because the cost of goods are not going to start backing off and going down again. So if that's something that interests you, then you text me or you call me at 407-706-3313 or go to my website at webringyouhome.com, and we're going to start working on helping youth become homeowners. Because if you look at what it takes to rent right now, it's getting harder and harder. And I'm telling you that if it keeps going in this direction, which it has no end in sight, there is a possibility that your grandchildren or your children that are adults that may have their own kids might end up being forced to move back in with family. And we can stop that bleeding right now, and we can reach out and help more of them. Call me at 407-706-3313. Go to my website at webringyouhome.com. Any adult that is, say, 21 or older can start looking at getting a mortgage. Get them into a house. Do you know that you have a 70% greater chance on retiring as a millionaire if you buy a home in your 20s? 70% greater chance. Now, for all of you parents out there with adult children, and you're established. I don't mean you're rich, but you're established. Why not set up their inheritance that they're going to get from you in advance while you're still alive and you can control where it goes? Because I can assure you one thing. When you die and you leave anybody any money and they're not used to having any money, I can promise you, I see it every day. They don't know what to do with it. They spend it. They're going to go buy an 80-inch screen TV. They're going to go buy a motorcycle. They're going to buy a Boston Whaler. They're going to get a George Foreman grill. I don't know what they're going to get, but it's not going to be generational wealth. But if they buy a home with it, then that down payment will go into that home and you can't spend it. And you got to have a place to live. And it's a fixed living. Your mortgage never goes up except for maybe your taxes and homeowner's insurance. Your mortgage payment's fixed. Your rent payment's not fixed. Pick up the phone, give me a call at 407-706-3313 or go to my website at webringyouhome.com. That's webringyouhome.com. When we get back, I'm going to talk about a guest I'm going to have in the third segment of this that is a local CPA, and he's going to tell us all about the new tax code. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Loner Ranger Radio Show. My name is Bruce Woodburn, CrossCountry Mortgage. I'm the Loner Ranger. If you have any questions for me, feel free to call me at 407-706-3313. That's 407-706-3313. Or if you'd like to apply for a mortgage, I've got the best mortgage company in the business. I'm telling you, bar none. You want great service. You want great rates. You need to refinance. You hadn't refinanced yet. You want to buy. I'm committed to helping more buyers this year, particularly first-time home buyer. But maybe you're one of those folks that want to move up. You made a ton of money in equity in your house. It's time to move up to that dream home. Maybe you want to now invest in investment properties or buy a condo on the beach. I can help you with all that. 407-706-3313, 407-706-3313. Why choose me, the Loner Ranger? Because I'm local. I'm a businessman. I've been in the business 33 years. I'm one of the top producers, not only in the state of Florida, but nationally. I have a team that is dedicated to service. I don't know about you, but I find that service has gone by the wayside in our society. I'm about service. You want great service? You get return phone calls, you get returned emails, you get returned text, you get meetings in person. Okay, try doing that with the Rocket or one of these other fancy programs out there. It doesn't happen. I will help you with all that. And I'm a direct lender. I'm in all 50 states, so our buying power is immense. We do what we say we're going to do, and we do it really well here. And if you don't have the best experience ever with a mortgage, you give me a call. I want to talk to you about it. I will fix that problem for you. My team is committed to that. Now, last segment, we talked about my commitment to helping more first-time home buyers and youth understand the importance of establishing credit, balancing a checkbook, learning how they can become homeowners one day, not get enslaved into this generational poverty that keeps you enslaved in renting. Because once you're into renting, it's hard to get out, really hard to get out. I'm going to teach youth how to save money and establish credit and balance a checkbook and do all the right things. There's so many people out there, and it's not, listen, people that can't afford a home or don't think they can afford a home does not have boundaries on race. Okay. I don't care what color you are or what shape you are. Everyone has the same advantages and disadvantages. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't mean that rich people don't have more advantages for cash to close than poor people do, but I'm in the business of helping people with mortgages. And I'm going to tell you something. I've seen doctors and lawyers and business people that make a ton of money and don't have a doggone pot to pee in. And then I've seen laborers and the workforce and people that grind it out, mechanics and just, a teacher and law enforcement or somebody that makes a good income, but not, they're not getting rich. And yet they have money in the bank and they own properties. So don't think because you don't come from wealth that you can't amass wealth. My parents were middle class, but I lost both my parents when I was 15 years old. I was orphaned at 15 years old. I went down some bad paths there for a while. Believe me, I'm not talking to you from some ivory tower. I'm talking to you because I've been there. I was down in the dumps. I did not have anything. I was dirt poor. Dirt floor poor. I did not have anything. And if it wasn't for people that wrung my neck and said, Woodburn, get your act together, your parents would not have been proud of the way you're behaving and the things that you're doing, I would not have done it. So I changed. I didn't have anything. I had no money. No one out there should think that they're not in a position to change their life. And if you have grandchildren or children, help them change their life. I will teach classes. I'm going to be putting a class on my calendar in April that I'm going to teach generational wealth for young people. And I'm going to start with the basics and go all the way through. Now, listen, when I come back to this next segment, I'm going to introduce you to a really important guy that's been doing my taxes for the last probably 15 years, and he's going to talk to us about all the new changes in tax code and things you need to be aware of. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Welcome back to the Loner Ranger Radio Show. My name is Bruce Woodburn. I'm the Loner Ranger, and I promised that I was going to bring one of my all-time favorite guests with me, my friend Ben Moore from Ben Moore CPAs in Maitland, Florida. Now, I think it's a really important time of the year to be able to talk about taxes, even though sometimes it's a little painful for some of us. It's the time of the year that you're going to have to do it one way or another. So I wanted to bring my friend Ben on so we could talk a little bit about changes, some advantages, some things you need to be aware of, and also some opportunities that we all have. So, Ben, welcome to my show.
Well, thank you, Bruce. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
So Ben's been doing my taxes since 2005, okay? So I'm going to tell you, if you trust me, the Loner Ranger, you're going to trust Ben. He's going to take good care of you. So, Ben, you do everything from simple tax returns to complex corporate audits and all kinds of things like that. Correct?
Yes, that would be correct, Bruce.
Everything in between. Now, you and I talked about what is the ideal client that really needs your services, and it seemed to me like you were kind of talking about me.
That's exactly right, Bruce. You and I have been working since 2005, and you're a living testimony to the situation.
So
and you're a perfect
when we
client.
say that, that means small business, self-employed, entrepreneurs, people that are, wanting to either start or have an established business.
That's correct. Bruce, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
How many small businesses, best guess, do you think started up in the Central Florida area, Orange, Seminole County, in the year 2021?
Well, we were in the middle of a pandemic, so I'm going to say, 150, 200?
Oh, my goodness. Try 36,133. That's brand new businesses.
That's
brand
crazy.
new businesses. Isn't that amazing?
What would a typical year then be like?
25,000.
Okay. So we exceeded that by some 10, 11,000 people, businesses.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, you have any idea as to why you think that was?
2 reasons. One, of course, is the pandemic. People were at home, maybe not working, concerned about their income, so they decided to jump out and start their own business. And that's fine. But the core 25,000, Bruce, the entrepreneurial spirit is alive and well in Orlando for small businesses.
Praise the Lord for that.
That means all kinds of good things for the area, all kinds of businesses.
So, and I think you and I, because you're also a small businessman, I'm a small businessman, I think that small businesses are the heartbeat of America, and that's what keeps us moving.
I would agree. It certainly is in Orlando.
Well, it's such a great place to live. I had mentioned on my show yesterday that the top 10 cities came out in the United States to live in. Number 1 was Tampa, number 2 was Jacksonville, and number 9 was Orlando. So we are in a very dynamic place, and I think we still have a lot of room for a lot of growth. But let's get on to tax season, because that's what we're into right now. What are some of the things that you think are important that somebody is aware of right now when it comes to preparing their taxes or getting themselves ready for tax season?
Bruce, right now, the biggest thing that I can suggest to the radio audience is file early and electronically file. I say again, file early and electronically file.
Why file early?
Well, here's the thing. Going into this busy season, starting in about mid-January, the IRS still had a backlog of over 6 million tax returns that they had not processed from primarily tax year 2020 and 19. 6 million returns. Now, the average is about 1 million. So they had an extra 5 million returns that hadn't been processed. creates all kinds of problems when people are trying to verify income with tax returns for a mortgage, et cetera, et cetera.
And that, you know what? It's funny you say that. I have a client right now, Ben, that I have him locked in on a jumbo transaction refinance. And you can imagine interest rates have gone up here quite a bit in the last month or so.
Ouch.
Had him locked in. I cannot get his IRS 4506 forms from the IRS. It is a huge dilemma. So it's funny that you recognize that, because that's a pain in my industry. So the typical self-employed person, they call me up and they go, Bruce, I don't file till October, right? You know, so you're encouraging people to get their paperwork to you so you can get them their taxes prepared and filed as early as possible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The reasons that the IRS is backlogged so bad is several. And they're not short-term answers. They're mid-term, long-term answers. The pandemic, people working from home, cybersecurity with identity theft has been a big pain in their side.
Huge.
Budget cuts, extra duties with things like stimulus checks, advanced child tax credits, all sorts of issues like that. Last-minute changes from Congress, like employee retention credits, all sorts of issues, computer systems that are antiquated have come to a head. And they have some serious problems. People over there are working as hard as they can, but there's not enough horses to pull the wagon right now.
Yep. Listen, if you have any questions for Ben, or you'd like him to review your taxes, you would like to hire somebody that will absolutely take great care of you and really knows his business inside and out, he is a trusted partner. You can reach Ben at 407-644-3119. Write that down, 407-644-3119. 3119. Now, if you don't have time to write that number down and you can't think of it, I know you know my phone number at 407-706-3313. That's 407-706-3313. You can text me at that number. I'll pass Ben's contact information on to you. But don't screw around with trying to do TurboTax or free, whatever the commercial is. You get what you pay for, guys. You absolutely get what you pay for. And I'm endorsing Ben. I'm going to tell you, it's not somebody that's... Are you paying me to be on this show?
No, Bruce, and we've kept you out of jail so far, yes, so there you go.
And you know what? My wife thanks you for that. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about other things that may be super important in today's world when it comes to tax preparation.
Well, people ask me all the time, Bruce, how can I save money on taxes? Obviously, that's a major topic. Well, sadly, the days of filing or saving your receipts and getting deductions like that at the end of the year are pretty much gone. There's basically three things that you can do to save money on taxes, and they're kind of lifestyle changes. They're biggies. The first is start your own business. Okay. Be one of those 36,000 people that are jumping out there and doing something on their own. Everybody has a skill, a trade. They've been around a successful business. They know how to do things. So starting your own business can be a major step in the right direction to save money on taxes.
Okay, starting your own business. So you and I have both done that. It's been a long time since we started, but we've both done that. And, you've always talked to me about 3 phases of owning a business. Let's talk a little bit about those 3 phases, because some people think you're going to start a business because you're passionate about something that you do or like, and all of a sudden the money's going to start flowing in the front door.
Bruce, every business goes through 3 stages. The first stage is what we call the putting it in stage. This is where you're getting started and you're putting money into the business to get things going, get some traction, get past that initial inertia, get your name out there, that sort of thing. The second phase is what we call the break-even phase. You're not putting money in, but you're not quite ready to start taking money out yet, but you're getting established. And the third stage, which is the fun stage, is taking money out in gobs. So those are the 3 stages. How long does it take to get to stage 3? That's the magic question.
Well, I think hard work and also making sure your books are in order. One of the things that I have found is that a lot of people are good technicians at what they do and like, but they don't know how to handle their books properly. You have any suggestions for that?
Absolutely. Bruce, this time of year my phone rings typically, and people want to get their taxes done, and they have a small business, but guess what? They don't have any books. They don't have any books. And somehow they're surviving. Well, there's two reasons to have a good set of books. The second reason is to save money on taxes. People with better books save money on taxes. The first reason is to run your business.
Right.
Is to run your business. You've got to have a profit and loss that shows your profit, and you've got to have a balance sheet that shows your cash, because every business has to have cash and profits.
Absolutely.
Every business.
And it's funny, because guess what you have to provide me when you come to me when you're self-employed?
I'm going to guess I'd say a profit and loss and a balance sheet.
Right, and 2 years tax returns.
There you
showing me that you're actually making a profit, okay? So those things are really important, that if you want a great tax preparer, a professional, not a bookkeeper, not just a tax advisor, but a CPA firm, Ben Moore and his team. And you've got a team of people that can help in all facets, right? I mean, you have how many employees do you have over there?
There's 13 in the firm, Bruce. We're big enough to handle things that come in and small enough to give you the good service.
I love that. 407-644-3119 is Ben's phone number. If you'd like to talk to the loan arranger, or you'd like to visit my website and apply online, you can always go to webringyouhome.com. That's webringyouhome.com. Or you can call or text me. This is my personal phone number, 407-706-3313. That's 407-706-3313. Okay. Now, clients come to you. Is it important that you know if they're trying to buy or refinance a home when they're self-employed?
Absolutely. Absolutely. When we do their tax work, typically they have to have 3 good years of tax returns. That's kind of the standard that we see coming through the door. And the numbers pretty much speak for themselves. If they've got what it takes to get a mortgage from the numbers that we're looking at, that's great. But if they don't, we really try and advise them of that accordingly up front, so that they're not wasting time going in the wrong direction, and that they understand what they really have to get a good mortgage.
Right. So, and just so you folks understand that are out there, if you want a typical mortgage that qualifies for Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, HUD, VA, you're going to need 2 full years of tax returns. And then we're going to average your net income. Now, there's things we can add back like depreciation and things of that nature, but don't go to some tax preparer that's not aware of what your goals are for purchasing or refinancing. File your taxes, write everything off, show no income, and wondering why you can't buy that beautiful home that you want. So Ben will examine those. I will give him an idea of what you need to make in order to qualify. Now, we're not coaching you on how much money to make or how to cheat the government out of their tax dollars. We're just giving you some ideas as to what you would need to get what you want. Now, your numbers are the ones that make the difference. What you make and what your write-offs are going to determine the difference. And then, of course, I can add back depreciation and mileages and things like that.
Absolutely.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We got about a minute to go. What other important things are before we go to our next break that we can share?
Well, the other 2 things that you can do to save money on taxes, Bruce, is get involved in real estate. Maybe you have a commercial building for your business. Maybe you have a rental home, but real estate is still a juicy item when it comes to tax savings.
Well, I didn't think you had the write-offs that we used to have on. I mean, I'm an advocate of real estate. I'm obviously a real estate investor, but I didn't think we had those advantages. So why is that so important from your perspective?
Some of the advantages are short-term. Some of them are long-term. But overall, the advantages are still there. Tax rates are lower on the capital gains side. You can still write off expenses against the rental incomes that you can't take otherwise. So the advantages are still there, Bruce.
Well, and we're seeing some amazing appreciation in value these days, and I don't expect that that's going to start going down anytime soon. Like, we're seeing hyperinflation. The cost of products are going up. The cost of these builders to build a home, Ben, they don't even know what to charge. So they're waiting until they're spec homes before they put them on the market, because the cost that it costs to build them is different from when they started, from when they finished. So that is not expected to settle down. I mean, lumber prices may settle down, but a little bit. but it's going to continue to cost more. But on the bright side of that, you're going to experience more and more appreciation in your home. And we know, and for those of you that listen to my show, you hear me say there's no such thing as a rich renter. Stay tuned. We'll be back in 5 minutes with more of the Loner Ranger Radio Show with Bruce Woodburn and my guest, Ben Moore, CPA firm here in Maitland, Florida. You can reach him at 407-644-3119, or you can reach the Loner Ranger at 407-706-3313. I don't even know my own number. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Welcome back to the Loner Ranger Radio Show. My name is Bruce Woodburn, CrossCountry Mortgage, the Loner Ranger. Been in the mortgage business for 33 years. I've closed well over 10,000 transactions, and I am still going strong, having fun, helping lots of folks get into houses, refinance their homes, save money, giving real estate advice, trying to keep you up to speed on what's going on in the real estate market, mortgage market. And a lot of you folks out there may already own home. Most of you do. You're all well established. So why is this show still important to you? Because I'll bring you market data. And if you own real estate, you should know exactly what's going on in real estate and where that investment and how that investment vehicle is working for you. Speaking of investment vehicles, I have a friend of mine, Ben Moore from Ben Moore CPAs in Maitland. He's been doing my tax preparation and keeping me out of jail since 2005, and my wife is grateful for him. I want to bring Ben on because we've been talking about this half segment about how taxes can impact you and what you can do to be able to navigate through tax season. Ben's phone number is 407-644-3119. My phone number is 407-706-3313. If you have questions, you can text me right now at that number, and I can connect you directly with Ben, or we can field your questions for you. You can also go to my website at webringyouhome.com. That's webringyouhome.com. Welcome, Ben Moore, my favorite CPA, on the air with me, talking about the most exciting thing, and that is taxes. And I say that because I know they're not that exciting.
Bruce.
Any more than mortgages are exciting, okay? I came to a conclusion, Ben, that I am a foregone conclusion. They don't want a mortgage. They want a house. They want to save money. But I'm a means to an end. So let's talk a little bit about tax season and what we're doing right now to help our friends out there that are listening to us.
Fair enough, Bruce. Fair enough. Well, as I have said before, especially if you're trying to get a mortgage, you got to file early and you got to file electronically. The reason for that, to sum it all up, is the IRS has a huge processing backlog right now. So if somebody like Bruce is trying to verify your income with a copy of your tax return, you got to electronically file so it hits the system and it's not stuck in the mailroom, so to speak. Real important right now. Real important.
Very good. And so that helps not only them to be able to have their taxes prepared, but that means that they have to be prepared when they come to you. You can't just show up at your front door and go, I need my taxes done, when you're self-employed. You need to have good books. And having good books is something that I find a lot of self-employed people aren't as good at as they are at the job that they do. Do you have any advice for that? Do you use somebody that does bookkeeping or any type of preparation for small businesses?
Bruce, our firm handles a lot of the bookkeeping, if you will, to get the small businesses where they need to be. And bookkeeping is fine, but once you get the books kept, you've got to read them and tell people what they say, because They don't know that either. All they know is they've got books, but they really need to understand how to use them. How to read the profit and loss to see if they're profitable, how to read the balance sheet to see if they have cash. As we all know, you got to have positive cash flow, you got to have profits. Those two things are critical to run the business.
Absolutely.
And get a mortgage.
You know what? You can't get a mortgage unless you're showing a profit. So I think that's valuable information. If you've got questions for Ben, you want a trusted partner that I have used since 2005, I want you to write this number down. Ben Moore, 407-644-3119. That's 407-644-3119. Or you can call the Lone Ranger right here at 407-706-3313. That's 407-706-3313. Or visit my website at webringyouhome.com. I'm helping everybody out there, first-time home buyers all the way up to you multi-million-dollar buyers. I will see you next week on the Cleve Loveland and Lone Ranger radio show, and tune in every Sunday on my show. I'm grateful for all of you. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.